last week, I spoke about the opening line from Fukanzazengi, and I thought that I would talk about the rest of the first paragraph this morning. So, you might recall that from last week, the first line in Fukanzazengi is the way is originally perfect and all pervading. How could it be contingent on practice and enlightenment? Dogen goes on to say, the vehicle of reality is the self. Vehicle of reality is the self. And he concludes the paragraph with another question. Indeed, the whole body is free from dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? So the whole first paragraph is the way is originally perfect and all pervading. How could it be contingent on practice and enlightenment? The vehicle of reality is in the self. Indeed, the whole body is free from dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? So one of the reasons that Dogen can be kind of tricky to understand is that, believe it or not, he writes in a very clear and concise way. And apparently he used a lot of references and puns and colloquialisms that, if you lived in 1270-ish, you would have understood pretty easily. The second and third lines from Fukanzazengi um, sort of point towards a very, very well-known, at least back in the day, story about the fifth patriarch and the sixth patriarch of Zen. The line, the vehicle of reality is in the self. I'm going to talk about that just briefly, but the vehicle of reality is in the self. So if you think about the word vehicle, like vessel or machine one uses to take something from somewhere else, the vehicle of reality is in the self, and self has a capital S. So essentially what this line is saying is the vehicle of reality, form, and the self, the essential world, self, are one and the same. Vehicle of reality is in the self. Vehicle and the driver and all of it together are just one thing, and they're all included in the self. So let me tell you a little bit about the last line of that paragraph. The question, indeed, the whole body is free from dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? So dust can mean different things in the context of Zen. One of the most common ways that common sort of like metaphors that dust is used for is obstructions, usually obstructions in the form of the senses. It's sort of this idea that because we can become kind of deluded and believe the things that we experience through the senses and mind are permanent and real, it's like getting a speck of dust caught in your eye. And you sort of like, oh, that's reality. It's this speck of dust. And there are six senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And there's different types of dust that can get caught in the six uh, senses. So if you're um, really sort of fixated on the form of something. It's like you have dust in your dharma eye. So this actually refers back to um, one of my favorite kind of episodes in our ancestral history about the circumstances surrounding the dharma transmission between the fifth and sixth patriarch. And the fifth patriarch, Konen Obai, was getting ready to retire as abbot, and he knew it was time to give Dharma transmission. So he set up a poetry battle and said whomever can essentially write a poem that best describes their understanding and is closest to the truth as he taught it, that person will become my dharma ancestor. So the head monk Shinshu apparently was a very intelligent, scholarly person, and he was the favorite, odds-on favorite to win this poetry battle. And he wrote a poem, and his poem was the body is the Bodhi tree. The mind is like the stand of a clear mirror. Wipe it clean from time to time. Never let dust and rubbish adhere to it. Body is the Bodhi tree. The mind is like the stand of a clear mirror. Wipe it clean from time to time. Never let dust and rubbish adhere to it. So the poem sort of points towards this idea that practice is a way to clear the dust so that we can see reality clearly. And there's a good bit of duality in here, that there's uh, enlightenment and something besides that. And as we've kind of talked about a bunch, one of Dogen's great contributions to Zen is his profound teaching that enlightenment and practice are the same thing. There's no difference between delusion and enlightenment. So Shinshu's poem um, describes one aspect of practice, which is noticing delusion and letting go, but not not very deep understanding. There's this idea that our job is to clear away the dust. So there was another member of the community who was actually a layperson named Enno. Enno worked doing sort of odd jobs around the monastery and wasn't ordained as a monk, didn't read or write, but he heard about this poetry battle and he asked one of the other monks to read him Shinshu's poem and then thought about it and then asked this other monk, to write down his poem. And this is Enno's poem. The Bodhi is inherently, sorry, the Bodhi is intrinsically no tree. Nor has the clear mirror any stand. There is not one thing from the beginning. Where can dust and rubbish adhere at all? So when you get beyond delusion and enlightenment, and you get beyond um, this idea that practice is about becoming something else, getting rid of the dust, what you arrive at is reality itself. So Shinshu says, wipe it clean from time to time, never let dust and rubbish adhere to it. And Enno says, there's not one thing from the beginning. Where can dust and rubbish adhere at all? So now we get back to Dogen's question. Indeed, the whole body is free from dust. Who could believe in a means to brush it clean? So these are the opening words to Fukanzazengi. This is his introduction to the practice of zazen. And he's presenting us with a really different sort of take on what meditation is compared to a lot of different prevailing conceptions at the time, that meditation or even zazen practice is a thing that you do to become enlightened, to wipe away your defilements, get rid of the dust so you can see things clearly. Dogen is saying it's not that at all. In fact, it's just a way of settling into your life. So there's more to the story when it comes to the fifth and sixth patriarch. So Obai decides that Enno's poem is the better reflection and deeper understanding of the Dharma, and calls Enno into his personal quarters and gives him Dharma transmission, gives him the robe of transmission, and says to him, "You need to leave the monastery tonight because they will try to kill you. They will try to take the robe from you." And the story goes that Obai, who was old at this time, actually rowed the boat across the river and carried Enno to the other side. And then Enno ran away. And the next morning, um, Obai did not give a talk, and the monks asked, "You're not giving a talk this morning. Why?" And Obai said, "The Dharma has left." And then there's a whole koan about the chase that one of the monks afterwards tries to run down Enno and get the robe back. That's a story for another day. So Enno won the poetry battle. What did he win? Well, he didn't win anything. He actually took on the burden of keeping our school alive. So there you have it. So Dogen introduces us to a different way of practicing. Uh, Many at the time, his time, sort of understood what zazen practice was, and probably we have a different understanding as well. So we're going to keep looking into Fukanzazengi, but I want you to keep that in mind that this is not some practice to wipe away the dust so we can see clearly. It's a practice of being the dust or being not dusty or whatever the conditions of our life is, just settling